she inhales it. Panther never.
I know. Oh, but okay. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Chris, and all right, there we go. What's up, guys? Chris Nelson here. It's Thursday, December 28th, 2023, and Ron DeSantis, to the dismay of all the Trump supporters who just wanted him to quit and just give up already. You've already lost this election. Ron DeSantis has run the worst campaign. Not only that, but his Twitter followers are the worst. They've insulted President Trump, daring to challenge him and challenge the leader. The senile, almost 80-year-old leader, and now DeSantis is back to the campaign trail, and it seems also that Trump supporters are unfamiliar with the idea of taking some time off for Christmas, as Donald Trump spent Christmas rage tweeting and telling his enemies to go to hell and things like that, and while his supporters frantically tweeted on Twitter and made the whole entire holiday, which was supposed to be about Jesus, by the way, about Donald Trump. So Ron DeSantis is going to be, I'm sharing this around, Ron DeSantis is in Iowa today and is going to be doing a Parental Rights Roundtable at Maggie's Irish Pub in Italy in Kenny, Iowa. And pretty cool. He loves to do things at restaurants and give them a little plug, small businesses. He did that during during 2020, the shutdowns, whatever the heck you want to call them. But mainly what this stuff was driven by was media a lot. There really wasn't government here in Florida telling restaurants they needed to shut down, not from the state level anyway, but the local governments were a little bit crazy. But mainly it was media driven. Media was telling people that if you went to a restaurant, that you were going to get sick and possibly die and make others sick and make your grandma sick. And they were reporting COVID deaths every single day. This gets overlooked. You know, we talk about the government all the time and what they did, but what gets overlooked a lot is the media's involvement in this. A lot of the stuff that happened in 2020 was media driven. It was media telling people that scaring the hell out of everybody and using this COVID death count. And then when they ran out of that, they of people, and by the way, I looked at those COVID deaths, okay, and a lot of them, they were in some pretty bad shape, okay? You're talking 80-year-old person who fell down the stairs and cracked his skull. We tested him for COVID, and we're labeling this a COVID death because they were getting paid to label things COVID deaths, okay? You had a lot of things like that, but then it turned into new cases, and it was new cases every day. Oh, we got 87 new cases today, and media was scaring the hell out of everybody. So Ron DeSantis liked to do press conferences at these restaurants, and he would come and bring the staff up and bring normal people up, regular people, and it wasn't the and that made some politicians mad, some congressmen mad who are now backing Trump. I know there's one, Greg Steube, who is very, very mad that he got slighted by the governor and wouldn't let him speak and at the podium at his press conferences. So out of spite, he is backing Donald Trump now for president. You know, you got a lot of these guys, you got a lot of big babies in office, you know? And what I would say if I was Ron DeSantis, I'd be like, okay, Congressman Steube, thank you for proving me right that you are a petty little man. Okay. So Ron DeSantis likes to lift up regular people. This is something that he's done. And he likes to find people who are not people you hear about all the time in the media and give them some airtime. So let's go to, before it starts, this is set to start in 15 minutes, and I will bring it live, and I will try not to talk during it or say, I'll try to just bring this uninterrupted roundtable. But Ron DeSantis just had a major victory over the teachers' unions. The Miami-Dade Teachers Union is in some trouble because Ron DeSantis made it so he passed a law so the unions They couldn't extract dues from the teachers' pay directly. And number two, the unions would have to represent a certain threshold of teachers in order to get recertification. Because what's the point in having this union if they only are representing a certain amount of teachers? We saw this over and over again, where the union here in Broward would defend teachers that were really bad, that would do things like, this one teacher told us a student that she can die and go to her fate God. And and this guy also got caught doing some other things. And the union came in and they defended his job, and he's still working here as a teacher in Broward County. How does that happen? The unions were the ones that were behind the mask mandates. The unions were the ones pushing for the school to be shut down. They sued Ron DeSantis over that. They're really a scourge to students and to teachers. Okay, don't think just because they're called the teachers union that they are representing the teachers. See, the point of the law was not to abolish teachers unions, as much as that kind of sounds like it would be a cool thing, but was to make them more representative of the teachers. So giving the teachers the ability to decide if they want to be a part of the union or not, and not have to face this kind of retribution, because they use these little tactics that you hear about unions using to try to bully you if you're not a member of the union. So he's really given teachers more freedom over this, and lo and behold, teachers are deciding, I don't want to be a part of the union. So what this will do, and what this is designed to do, and what it will do, okay, because believe me, the Miami-Dade Teachers Union, the woman Carla Matz who runs that union, oh boy, yeah, I'll say it, she's not a good person. All right, she was driving hearses around the school board, making it sound like if schools got back in session that kids would die. Okay, she's been linked to Twitter accounts that dox parents that go to these meetings and get taking their names down, and then plastering them all over the internet and calling them a bigot and things like that, like intimidation tactics. The roundtable's coming up in 12 minutes. So what this is going to do, what really needs to happen is a change in union leadership down here. The Broward Teachers Union boss and the Miami Teachers Union boss, they have got to go. They're gonna, and if the unions want to survive, they need to change leadership. That has to come. And the legislative session is coming up soon. When people say, "Oh, Ron DeSantis is neglecting Florida," but no, he's not. He's very much active in what's going on down here, and you're going to see the legislative sessions actually starting here in next week. Or the week after, just January 9th, the legislative session begins. So what's going to have to happen now is the unions are going to need to do things that make themselves more representative of the teachers, and they're going to have to be moderate and not engage in these woke political expeditions where they're pushing these disgusting books and pushing this woke agenda and the pronouns and all this nonsense. They got to cut this out. This is forcing their hand. This is how Ron DeSantis is effective in defending parental rights. And I think you're going to hear about this a lot today in his Parental Rights Roundtable. Now let's go to Nikki Haley and her whole thing, the Civil War gate. What she stepped in it this morning. Don't you love that you don't have to worry about Ron DeSantis stepping in it? You're never going to worry that he's going to give an answer like this, okay? And you see Biden is taking advantage of this, okay? Let's watch what Nikki Haley said. I think this was yesterday at a town hall. All right, let's go.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
He doesn't know. What should I tell him?
Don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was?
What do you think?
I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president is what he says. Good answer.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
Thank you. And then in the year 2023, it's astonishing indeed, and you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
What do you want me to say? I mean,
Next question.
whoa, I mean, my goodness, what do you want me to say? I mean, is she going to put that on campaign signs? And this is the guy that the Koch brothers are backing, or they've also been referred to as the Koch brothers, but it is the Koch brothers. They call them the Koch brothers, okay? But let's just call them the Koch brothers. What do you want me to say? Well, you know what? She should have had Vivek Ramaswamy right there, because he would have stepped in and said, oh, well, Nikki, hold on a second. I'll tell them what they want to hear. Okay, who wants to hear it was about slavery? Okay, are we going to talk about slavery? Or let me see, this audience is a lot of white people, so are they upset about slavery, or do they want me to say it's about states' rights? Okay, we can talk about states' rights if you want. You know, I mean, this is the problem with today's politicians, okay? They don't have any substance. They don't read books. They're not intellectually curious. They don't know history. And I mean, really, that's just the silliest thing when you're asked a question that you go, oh, well, what do you want to hear? I mean, that encapsulates the problem with politicians today. And here is Biden, President Joe Biden, running for president again for re-election. Apparently he's going to still run, making a very rightfully taking advantage of this. It was about slavery. All right. At least Biden can answer that. And how could you really say, look, I get it, the Civil War, there was this states' rights issues, and it's more complex than just slavery. But how can you say that the Civil War had nothing to do with slavery? It had a lot to do with slavery. Okay. Now, I hope Ron DeSantis gets asked this question today. But the thing is with DeSantis, if he gets asked these questions, he's not going to do things that get a retweet from Biden and make fun of him. Okay? So here, let's go down to Lindsey Graham saying crazy stuff. And then you got these guys. I was asking with the Trump people, where do you draw the line with this guy? This is what I want to know. All right. You don't care, still voting Trump. I mean, he comes out, he's like, I'm going to exact vengeance on all my enemies. Well, who are Trump's enemies right now? Ron DeSantis and people like me. Okay. So, Trump's message, it's like the two cranky old men. Trump's message and Biden's message are pretty much the same. How is Trump's message of going after his political enemies any different? And how is that any more inspiring than Biden when he gets up there and shakes his fists and it goes, I'm going to get MAGA Republicans? And I mean, do we really want this battle of the cranky old man who wants to exact vengeance on his enemies again? I mean, is that what we want? That's not what I want. Seeing as today, now I would be considered one of Trump's enemies, and he regularly retweets people that talk about trying DeSantis supporters for treason and giving them the adequate punishment. You know what the punishment for treason is? All right. So, I mean, this is who we want. We want these guys that are hell bent on sticking it to their enemies. There's no vision in that. That's not that. And where do you draw the line, Trump supporters? Okay. He's come out and called the heartbeat bill an awful thing, a horrible thing. He's pro-trans now. He's been pro-vaccine the whole time. He's not, I mean, the only way that anybody who had any COVID vaccine injuries is going to get any kind of reckoning for that and is by Ron DeSantis. And really, Fauci needs to have all of his assets seized and down to every last spoon and fork in his house, and then treated like El Chapo. I mean, really like a drug lord. But the only way, you're not going to get that with Trump. But okay, so he's not for the he's still pushing the vaccines. He's where do you draw the line with Trump? That's my question, and no Trump supporter has been able to answer that yet. If Trump says it, that makes it right. Well, that's like, I mean, how is that any different than Adolf Hitler or Stalin or Castro? Oh, if they say it, it makes it right. No, it doesn't work that way. And if Ron DeSantis started going off the rails, I'd be done with him. It's not about, oh, I'm loyal to. I mean, there's a loyalty, sure, but there's a loyalty to values. Like whose values? So I ask any Trump supporter, tell me, where do you draw the line? Like, what could Trump do or say that you would say, I'm done with this guy? Where's your limit with him? Because I don't think you have one. I think that if Trump says it, that makes it right to you. All right. So Nikki Haley's response to this is they set me up. It's a classic Trump response. Okay. This was a plant aimed at tripping me up. Okay. Well, maybe it is. So you're running for president. You should be able to answer that question. You should be able, enough with the excuses. This is a Trump thing. And I don't think it's going to work with Nikki Haley, who, by the way, Trump is going around saying he wants as his running mate. Ask him, do you want Nikki Haley as a running mate? Guys, and I mean, and Don Jr.'s like, oh, that's not going to happen. Well, guess what? We're not having that kind of conversation in the Ron DeSantis camp, okay? That is Nikki Haley going to be the running mate? No, Nikki Haley is not going to be DeSantis' running mate, and there's no chance of that. He's going to pick somebody like Chip Roy, who has just been a total badass, by the way. I just absolutely loving Chip Roy. Doesn't take any crap from these guys at all. Most conservative guy in Congress, and they're calling him a rhino. It shows they don't care, okay? They don't care about record. They don't care about being a conservative. The only thing they care about is loyalty to Trump and whatever his whims are. That's it. And that's why I compare him to a dictator. That's just like the dictators were. Oh, it began and ended with Hitler, okay? If Hitler said it was right, then it was right. That made it right. When Stalin said it was right, that made it right. And then Trump always talks about his admiration for Chairman Xi, and oh, he's able to keep all those people under his thumb, man. He's such a smart guy. I mean, but Fox News report that kind of stuff. Well, Breitbart. Well, no, they're all Trump ball polishers. They care about what their clout, their bottom line, and not pissing off Trump supporters and not upsetting him. And they're just, Fox News is just the Trump news network. He loves eminent domain too. And, do you know that Trump went and did all these eminent domain claims against people to build his wall, his big, beautiful wall that never materialized? He went nuts with eminent domain. And you know who else loved eminent domain? Fidel Castro. Trump's like, when I get back, I'm going to be the biggest dictator you've ever seen. And they're all, the supporters are like, yeah, dictatorship. All right. No, I'm not down with that, guys. I'm not. There's a Joe Rogan clip that I want to play. So if any Trump supporter can come up with a place where you draw the line, let me know. A lot of people are asking this. I can't find any Trump supporter to tell me that's a current Trump supporter where you draw the line. That isn't a DeSantis supporter now, because they drew the line and he crossed it. And then they said, screw it. With me, it was when he started smearing Ron DeSantis. That was my last straw. I was able to forgive a lot. If Trump had come out correct in 2021, 2022, and been the fighter against the mandates that we needed him to be and all these things. No, all he did was piss and moan about losing the election and cry about how it was stolen from him and all this stuff. He didn't do any of that stuff. Ron DeSantis picked up that mantle. But the last straw for sure with me was when he started attacking and smearing Ron DeSantis, the guy that literally saved our livelihoods here in Florida. I was done with him at that point. But Trump supporters, where do you draw the line? Look, I'll draw the line with DeSantis. If DeSantis goes off the rails, if he started pushing the vaccine tomorrow, I'd be like, I'm not, and DeSantis doesn't demand blind loyalty either. That's another weird thing. It's another dictator type thing. Trump's like, I demand loyalty from you no matter how crazy I get. You're not going to hear that from Ron DeSantis. All right, so this thing's about to start. I'm going to play the Joe Rogan clip after. This was from like a week ago, but it just encapsulates, probably a lot of you guys have seen it, but he's there talking about a quote that was actually turned out to be a Biden quote. And or a Trump quote, and he was attributing it to Biden, and saying that there were runways during the Civil War, and it was something that Trump said, and Joe Rogan's like, well, that disqualifies Biden from being president to say something stupid like that, and then they find out it was Trump that said it, and he's like, oh, well, okay, then it doesn't matter, and like, all right, and this guy's like the biggest guy in media, the biggest podcast in media, and these guys are just blindly following Trump. When Trump says it, it's fine. All right. So let's see if this has begun. Okay. All right. I don't see it yet. So I think it's going to be just do his Twitter here. So I'll just do that. I don't have a link for it. But if it's on Rumble, I'll put it through. They better be broadcasting it. If not, you're just gonna have to listen to me. But nah, they do with all of these. So and this is this is DeSantis talking to voters. Oh yeah, when Trump attacked Kemp for reopening, when he did that was just he came out, he did exactly what Fauci told him to do. He attacked Governor Kemp of Georgia for reopening. He attacked Ron DeSantis for reopening. I mean, he sent that memo that saying that we need to keep the masks going. I mean, there's really no difference between Trump and the left and the libs. I mean, I don't see any difference. But it's Trump, so it's okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. So I don't see him live on Rumble unless this is a never back down event. Is this a never back down event? All right. Is it a? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just a regular event. So while I'm waiting for this to start, let's go to this Joe Rogan clip. All right. So if you want to see the biggest problem here, all right, with these big Trump ball polishing media personalities like Joe Rogan, and they're all really short too. You notice Joe Rogan, he looks big there because he's got those big shoulders and the big head from all that human growth hormone. But he's really like 5 feet tall, kind of like Tim Pool. All right. So Rogan, he's like a lot of these guys. He did some great stuff. He worked his way to the top. He's got the top podcast, and now he's basically just another one of these Tucker Carlson type guys who, if Trump does it, it's okay. But if anybody else does it, it's not. All right. So here's what he said. Here's what happened on his show just a couple days ago.
Well, there's people that voted for Biden that are doing it now. They're like, what did I do?
Right.
Like, what did I choose? Like, how is this guy?
Yeah. You just can't listen to an interview or he's saying some of the stuff he says that just makes no sense at all. It's like you can't listen to those interviews and feel like you made a good decision. I don't know how you could.
Did you hear what he said like yesterday or a couple of days ago? He's talking about the Revolutionary War. He's like, one of the reasons why we lost the Revolutionary War, one of the problems with the Revolutionary War was they didn't have enough airports.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I saw that. Like, what the hell?
Like, pull him.
It's crazy.
If you had any other job and you were talking like that,
yeah,
they would go, hey, you're done.
A few moments later.
The same stable genius who said the biggest problem we had in the Revolutionary War is we didn't have enough airports. Whoa.
So
yeah, that's it.
Whoa.
Right,
what?
Just for the record.
Is that fake?
It's not fake, but he was referencing Trump saying that. Here's what Trump saying in 2019. Donald Trump said something about that. He didn't say Jesus. He said a stable genius, and that's where the transcription.
Let me hear what it says. What did he say?
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He said
So he fucked
everything
up.
took over.
Yeah, he did. But I feel like
Took over
that's
the airport.
you can tell too. It sounds like a little different. He's like, you can tell he like messed up his words, but
Yeah.
he's
now
I don't know.
Took over the airports.
Well, that's
It
the
is
thing
funny.
about that's the thing
But
about media these
He
days.
messed
It's like
up his words. You can tell he messed up his words. No, he didn't. He was reading from a teleprompter. Like, what the hell? Like then you know, this MMA fighter and Joe Rogan, now it's all okay. Now it's like, oh well, see, it was disqualifying when they thought Biden said it, but since Trump is the one that made the gaffe, that it doesn't matter. I mean, this just encapsulates the problems that we have. And the problem with these media shills, okay? Joe Rogan, you are the biggest podcast. You are the media. You can't sit there and complain about the media. You are the media. You have the biggest podcast in the world, I think. More views than anybody. More on Spotify, okay? Like, you are the media, okay? So here he is, just it's okay when, or it's a problem if Biden says it, but when Trump says it, then it's not a problem anymore. Okay. And this is what we see over and over again. This is what we see from media over and over again. Then it's like, okay, if Trump said it, then he's just messing up his words. And guys, I'm telling you, let me show you this. And I'm looking for the Parental Rights Roundtable. It hasn't started yet. As soon as it starts, I'm gonna do it live. I don't know if it's through his Twitter. I don't know if it's through Rumble. I don't see it here on Never Back Down. So hopefully it's something that's streamed, because it's something that we all want to see. So, because I'm telling you guys that they're going to prop Biden up, okay? They're going to make Biden look really good. And look, they're already doing it. They're already doing it here in the media. So you've got this, okay, underestimated 2024. Could it be that Biden is, that things are not that bad? Let me tell you something. They will prop him up to be, the best, greatest president since FDR. All right. They will say he's done great things for the economy. He's been wonderful. He's been awesome. They will prop him up. Okay. And bottom line is, if DeSantis is the nominee, he will win. If Trump's the nominee, he will lose. All right. This whole writing off Biden and he's just this bumbling old man and da da. No, Trump's a fumbling old man now. All they're going to do is run commercials like that one that got run on The Daily Show, where they're like, where they show all the people like Sean Hannity and people like Joe Rogan and these guys going, oh, look at all these gaffes he's committing. Oh, look at all this. Oh, look, he's senile. And then they're going to show all of Trump's gaffes, like the one you just saw. They're not going to have any ammo to go. They're not going to have anything to go at Biden with, because all that stuff can just be turned back around on Trump. So Nikki Haley is doing cleanup on aisle 5. Okay. Nikki Haley is doing people are pointing this out. So here's what they're doing here. Let's see what Haley responds to what she said while we're waiting for this to start.
War was about slavery. We know that. That's the easy part of it. What I was saying was, what does it mean to us today? What it means to us today is about freedom. That's what that was all about. It was about individual freedom. It was about economic freedom. It was about individual rights. Our goal is to make sure, no, we never go back to the stain of slavery, but what's the lesson in all of that? Civil War was about slavery. We know that. That's the easy part of it. What I was saying was, what does it mean to us today? What it means to us today is about freedom. That's what that was all about. It was about individual freedom. It was about economic freedom. It was about individual rights. Our goal is to make sure, no, we never go back to the stain of slavery, but what's the lesson in all of that? Civil War.
All right, you didn't know the answer, and you didn't have one. And you know what I like with DeSantis is it's not going. You don't always have to deal with clean up on aisle Ron, clean up on aisle Don. You don't have to. Somebody ask him about the Civil War. Somebody ask him about that, and he'll give you the right answer. All right, now give me the right answer, Ron, and start this parental rights thing. Okay, so this is okay. Oh, I know what I did. Guys. All right. Because DeSantis is not late to things. All right. Here's what I did. All right. Doors open at 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Okay. That means the thing is not going to start until probably 18 minutes. All right. Because I'm sitting here. And it's raining outside, by the way, down here in Fort Lauderdale. All right. I'm waiting for this DeSantis thing to start. All right. He's not late. All right. I'm wrong. What am I wrong about, Joe? All right. And the invitation that got sent out, the media advisory says 10 Central. All right. But that's the time that the media arrives. All right. That's when the doors open. So the doors opened for this thing just like 13 minutes ago. So what that means is it's not going to start until, let's see, it's not going to start until 10:30. Or 11:30. That's when it's going to start. So as soon as it starts, look, either way, as soon as it starts, then I'm going to bring it to you. All right. Hey, what's up, Lions Not Sheep? As soon as this thing starts, which I believe will be in like 15 minutes, I'm going to bring it to you. All right. In the meantime, we can talk about other stuff. And we can talk about the controversial calendar of all the conservative babes. Now, I thought that was about the dumbest thing to get upset about. Oh, yeah, you got Christina Pushaw calling out Johnny MAGA, a.k.a. Ali Alexander. Because, here's the thing, all right? Here's the thing with these guys, all right? You've got Ali Alexander of Stop the Steal, who allegedly is Johnny MAGA on Twitter, all right, who's just railing on Ron DeSantis all day long. Okay, this guy got caught sexting teenage boys, all right? And here's your guy, here's Trump, who the Trump mythology shows that he is saving so many children and saving them from pedophiles like Ali Alexander. Okay, well, what about Ali's victims? Did Trump rescue them? Did Trump save those children? Because as far as I know, he hasn't addressed this. And Ali still masquerades on Twitter under another name because Elon Musk booted him off as soon as he admitted this. And a lot of people defended him and because he denied it. He denied these things. He said it was all concocted. It wasn't true. And then he admitted it. He said, okay, I've done some bad things. I've solicited nude photos from teenage boys. Okay. All right. And then is that it for him? Well, Elon Musk kicked him off Twitter, but no, he's still pretty active in Trump world. They haven't condemned him. He's just, doing his thing. because I guess when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if you do these kind of things. Just don't do them in Florida, because Ron DeSantis has signed some pretty strict laws against this kind of stuff now. So I wouldn't do this in Florida, Ali. But this is another problem. You get sickos in Trump's orbit who don't get called out because they're in Trump's orbit. I mean, you got Ryan Fornier, you got Ryan Fornier, Students for Trump. One of the big guys who goes to Mar-a-Lago all the time and is this big, big Trump guy and has this big account. All these guys, they all they share each other's accounts, so they keep echoing each other, even though outside of Twitter nobody really knows who these guys are. But I kind of wish that more people knew who these guys were. So this is Ryan Fornier, Students for Trump, who hit his girlfriend with a gun. He pistol whipped his girlfriend. Got charged with pistol whipping his girlfriend. Co-founder of the political organization Students for Trump was arrested and charged with assault last week in North Carolina after allegedly hitting a woman with a gun, court records show. Fournier was charged with misdemeanor assault on a female and assault with a deadly weapon on November 21st, according to online court records. He is accused of grabbing a woman by her arm and hitting her in the forehead with a firearm, according to the charging documents, which have the woman's name redacted. We can assume it's his girlfriend. But was there outrage from Trump land on this? Was there any kind of condemnation about this? No. He just does his thing, and as long as you're in Trump world, then you're okay. You're protected. All right, you can do this kind of thing. All right. So we could talk about the scumbags around Trump like all day long, but it gets kind of boring. But it's important though, because I mean, these are the kind of guys that he'll be bringing with him. These are the kind of people that he will be staffing his administration with. And then you've got him sharing people that are calling for DeSantis supporters to be tried for treason and stuff like that. All right. I want this in the White House. This one in the White House right here.
All right. Now we've been waiting for you, the most special guest here.
So first, I mean, he's very good. So Mason, can you tell them what was the score of this year's Florida State versus LSU game?
25-24.
Okay, now I'm going to ask Siri. Hey, Siri, what was the score of the Florida State LSU football game?
Florida State trounced LSU by a score of 45-24 on September 3rd.
Yeah.
How did you know
He knows
that?
it. Good job. Mamie, what do you want to say? Do you want to say anything?
Mamie, do you want to?
Merry Christmas to people?
You want to say what you want for Christmas?
No.
No, I don't want you to.
What do you want?
I want football stuff.
Football stuff.
Madison, what do you want?
Science kit.
Science
She
kit.
wants a science kit.
Really?
She wants to do science experiments.
Ooh.
Mamie, tell them what you want. You want some stuff,
She
right?
wants a big princess.
Just nothing.
Is that what you
And
want?
she wants a dog.
Dr. Fauci.
Wants a dog.
Okay.
Oh,
Whole other question
I'm all
for
about a
another
dog.
time.
What type of breed and that?
Well, so this is a big source of negotiation because you've got to take care of the Biden's dog biting people. That's because he's not getting exercise. Like you've got to be
Commander.
able to do that. Yes. So, I mean, thing is, we've got a big yard now at the governor's residence. I mean, we absolutely could get a lab and let them run around and they'd have a lot of fun.
I think you're convincing Dad to
Boy,
get
was
it.
it
Just don't have them.
He
make
loves
you
this.
that
This is
team,
something that we
alright?
do in the front yard of the
So we
governor's
do it on
residence.
Thanksgiving. We'll do it on Christmas. Boys versus girls football. So in the front,
Very competitive.
So we're gonna do
So
that.
the girls, this one's so cute because she gets the football and she runs the wrong way, but it's fine. It's okay. We corral her, we get her back.
I could tackle for the
Well, we don't want to
But
tackle
I gotta make them proud, because what happens is if the girls score, he gets upset. If the boys score, they get upset. And it's like, that's life, guys. There's ups and downs. Sometimes other team will score. You just got to come back and put your best foot forward.
A DeSantis Christmas. See, that's a normal family. All right. That's a normal family. That's what I want to see in the White House. All right. That's what I want to see. Yeah, these idiots would be goose stepping with Adolf Hitler, and you know it. The only solution is Trump, says Cat Turd. What is that? What is that supposed to mean? Whatever he says, and I ask this again. Where do you draw the line with Trump? Like, where do you draw the line? Trump supporters, tell me. All right. If he calls for genocide, would you say that was a great thing, or would you say no, I don't want to do that? Like, give me your limit. Give me your limit. Where will be enough? Like, how crazy can he get? I don't think with him it would be anything. And that's how dictators have come to power, because people follow the personality, and cult leaders, by the way. People follow the personality and give up their principles, even though they know in their heart that it's wrong. They're following a personality, and it's to fill a void in their life. And people like Cat Turd, okay, and these guys that repeat this crap over and over again and use these phrases like Trump won, Trump won, Trump won. Da 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 da. These people, they to them it doesn't matter, because them they're just pushing they're pushing their grift, they're pushing their thing. It doesn't matter. But people that look into your heart and decide, what do you think is right? Are you going to follow some guy going by Cat Turd as is that what you want to say in 5 years? Oh man, I'm so glad I listened to Cat Turd. I don't think that's something that's going to come out of your mouth. Thoughts on Haley's slavery comment? Yeah. So the reason why we're not at DeSantis's town hall is because I misread the thing that media shows up at 11 o'clock. So that means it should start in a couple minutes. So, all right, let's go back to Haley. Let's go back to Haley and what she said. I don't know. I mean, she took down the Confederate flag, right? So, I mean, shouldn't that be enough? What's going on here? All right, with Haley and what she said and her inability to answer this easy question. Okay, watch. Let's play this again.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Please, what was the cause of the United States Civil War?
Well, don't come with an easy question or anything. I mean, I think the cause of the Civil.
She's trying to. Okay, this is a predominantly white audience here. Okay, what she's doing here is she's flipping through her Rolodex. You see politicians do this a lot. She's flipping through, and people that don't have a conscience or people that don't really have any moral values. She's flipping through her Rolodex in her mind as to what does she think this audience is going to want to hear. Okay. Oh man, if I start talking about slavery, they might. It's a predominantly white audience. Maybe they won't like it. Should I talk about states' rights? Too bad Vivek Ramaswamy isn't there, because step aside, Nikki. I will tell this audience exactly what they want to hear, because I'm very good at detecting what audiences want to hear and then telling them what they want to hear. No, there's a right answer and a wrong answer. There's no like, let me try to decide what this audience wants to hear. Then she goes even further. I mean, this is insane. She goes even further and asks the audience, what do you want to hear? Like, what? I don't know. What do you want to hear? What would make you happy? And this is the level we've gotten with our politics. This is the person that Sununu endorsed, that the Koch brothers are pushing. And this is what she says.
The war was basically how government was going to run, the freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. What do you think the cause of the Civil War was? I'm sorry?
I'm not running for president.
I'm not running for president.
You're on the cause of the Civil War.
I mean, I think it always comes down to the role of government and what the rights of the people are. And I will always stand by the fact that I think government was intended to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. It was never meant to be all things to all people. Government doesn't need to tell you how to live your life. They don't need to tell you what you can and can't do. They don't need to be a part of your life. They need to make sure that you have freedom. We need to have capitalism. We need to have economic freedom. We need to make sure that we do all things so that individuals have the liberties so that they can have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to do or be anything they want to be without government getting in the way.
2023, it's astonishing to me that you answer that question without mentioning the word slavery.
What do you want me to say about slavery?
What do you want me to say? I don't know. She's
next question.
Next question. All right. So somebody brought up Abdullah. You brought okay. She's talking in New Hampshire, not South Carolina, though. All she had to say was that it was wrong. Many ancestors in New Hampshire fought for the North. So is she's thinking, okay, I'm talking to a bunch of New Hampshire people. They're not gonna like me talking about slavery. Like, what's going through her head here? All right. She's thinking that her audience, she's trying to adjust her answer to her audience. Okay. And here, if you want to look this up, what Wikipedia says, all right, we can just go to Wikipedia. The cause of the Civil War was the dispute over whether slavery would be permitted to expand into the Western territories, leading to more slave states, or be prevented from doing so, which many believe would place slavery on a course to ultimate extinction. But my thoughts here, she's like, oh, it's about government and it's all about government. She gives a non-answer, and she's just telling this room what they want to hear. I wonder if she was talking to black voters, if her answer might have been a little bit different. Okay, as if black voters aren't going to see this. But the problem here with this is like, and then she complains that it's a plant afterwards. Okay, so what if it was a plant? You don't think that people don't go into DeSantis's town halls and plant questions and try to trip him up and stuff? You're supposed to be able to handle that. As a presidential candidate, you're supposed to be able to handle that. Actually, Conan says, the cause of the Civil War is that Lincoln refused to allow secession to go to court. I mean, I want to hear, okay, so what Wikipedia says, decades of political controversy over slavery were brought to a head by the victory in the 1860 U.S. presidential election of Abraham Lincoln, who opposed slavery's expansion into the Western territories. 7 Southern slave states responded to Lincoln's victory by seceding from the United States and forming the Confederacy. The Confederacy seized U.S. forts and other federal assets within their borders. 4 more Southern states seceded after the war began, and led by Confederate President Jefferson Davis, the Confederacy asserted control over about a third of the U.S. population in 11 states. 4 years of intense combat, mostly in the South, ensued. So my thoughts here is that she just did not, she saw this audience, and she thought that this might not be the audience that wants to hear about slavery. See, this is what this reminds me of, is a lib, which she is, who is trying to pretend that they're a conservative. So they hear things about conservatives that, oh, conservatives are kind of on the racist side, and they think that the Civil War didn't have anything to do with slavery, that it was am I right with this, babe? What do you think? Okay, that she's there going, okay, what do they want to hear? Okay, so conservatives, they're a little bit racist, right? These are a bunch of white people. They're probably a little bit, they probably don't want to hear about slavery. They probably want to hear that the Civil War was government overreach and things like that. So I'm gonna do it. But she wasn't really quick about it. she wasn't really quick about coming up with something. Like Ramaswamy would have just given you a load of BS right off the top of his head. He was really quick with his BS responses. But she's like, she was totally taken off guard by this. And she's trying to figure, okay, what do they want to hear? What Nikki Bot is malfunctioning. What does this group of white people, white Republicans want to hear? And no, there are just right answers and wrong answers. You can debate about whether the Civil War was more about states' rights or more about slavery or whatever, but you can't really say in any way, no matter what, like that the Civil War didn't have anything to do with slavery. I mean, it has a lot to do with it. Okay. And so I think she was trying to just come up with, and this is the problem with politicians is that you have people within the Republican Party running for the Republican nomination. Donald Trump's one of them. He's a little more slick than this, but that they're libs at heart. They more are in line with the Democrat Party. But what they do is they masquerade as Republicans. You have this all over the place. You have this with governors in Midwest states. You have this all over the place. They know that they cannot win as a Democrat, so they run as Republicans, but they don't really know how to relate to people. And all they know about Republicans are like media stereotypes. So she's trying to talk to a room of people, and she's got these preconceived notions about them because she probably doesn't hang out with regular people like Ron DeSantis does. She probably doesn't. She probably is very cloistered in her life and only is around wealthy elite types. This is how you can tell, by the way. If you hang around Washington, you can tell somebody that hangs around Washington all the time. You can tell somebody that only hangs around wealthy elites all the time, because they don't know how to talk to regular people and they get caught up with this kind of stuff. Look, you never have to worry about this stuff with Ron DeSantis. My concern is Ron's messaging and rhetoric on wokeness and what doesn't do well in New Hampshire. The people in New Hampshire are right up the alley of Chris Sununu, Dynasty, and Empire. I mean, geez, this is who you endorse, Sununu. I mean, gee whiz, this is who you endorse. So please. Oh, hey, what's up? Yeah, I missed the Spreaker days too and missed Debbie Daly. Hey, but here's the thing with DeSantis. Yes, that is true. Am I still? No, man. You can't compare now to 10 years ago, man. Insane. I wouldn't say insane. Passionate, but with Ron DeSantis, you're just going to get the truth of what he thinks. He's not trying to prepackage things for certain audiences. Sure, you want to speak to your audience. You don't want to talk to a group of parents about. So if you're talking about parental rights, you're not going to go in there and give a speech on climate change. Although I'm sure they comparison and the BS climate change stuff that's being pushed. Of course, they probably combine that somehow. But you're going to get the same consistent message from him. Okay, from DeSantis. It's not like, oh, I don't know what to say at this given time. And what should I say to this audience? And what else you're not going to get from him is Ron DeSantis isn't going to go and be complaining after the fact and saying that, this question was planted, this was unfair, anything like that. So I'm hoping this thing starts soon. I started man, I did not get the time of this. All right, so Parental Rights Roundtable in the morning. Okay, so when is the Parental Rights Roundtable? It's at 11 o'clock. People arrive at 11 o'clock. Okay, fine. So it should start any minute now, right? Okay. So look, DeSantis has a huge schedule today. Casey DeSantis appears at Guest That Never Back Down events in Western Iowa. Ron DeSantis will participate in a Parental Rights Roundtable in Ankeny, Iowa in the morning. Well, Andrew Romeo, we've only got but it's 10:35 in Iowa. So he could start at any given time now. He still has an hour and a half left in the morning over there. And here, there's only a half hour left in the morning. All right? So I was a little bit off when this thing was started. Okay? But Then Ron DeSantis will speak with several local Iowa news reporters in interviews that will air later this week. Ron DeSantis and South Carolina State Senator Josh Kimbrell will participate in a Stop the Swamp campaign event in Marion, Iowa. Ron DeSantis will join Fox News' Ingram Angle with guest host Jason Chaffetz tonight at 7:30 p.m. So he's going to be on Ingram Angle tonight. Tomorrow, Ron DeSantis will join the Doug Wagner Show live in the 600 a.m. studios in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, at 8:35 a.m. Ron DeSantis will speak with several local Iowa news reporters in interviews that will air later this week. Ron DeSantis and South Carolina Senator Josh Kimbrell will participate in a Stop the Swamp event in Davenport, Iowa. This is tomorrow. Ron DeSantis and South Carolina State Senator Josh Kimbrell will speak at an employee town hall at Kendrick's Forest Products in Edgewood, Iowa. Ron DeSantis will join Fox News' Your World with guest host Edward Lawrence at the top of the 4 p.m. hour. Ron DeSantis and Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds will participate in a meet and greet in Elkader, Iowa. Saturday, Ron DeSantis will appear as a special guest at Never Back Down events in New Hampshire with Representative Thomas Massey. This is going to be cool, okay? They're actually going and visiting a friend's house of mine, a friend of mine's house. That's going to be cool. He's going to be with Thomas Massey in New Hampshire, and he's pedal to the metal with this stuff. Okay, here was Ron DeSantis' Christmas message, and we'll compare it to Donald Trump's, and hopefully this thing will get started soon.
Well, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. I hope you're able to spend time with your family. We look forward to being able to share Christmas with our family, but also to remember and to celebrate what happened over 2,000 years ago in a little town of Bethlehem. When a child was born that changed the course of human history. I hope you all reflect on the reason for the season. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. God bless you and God bless America. Well, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
No go to hell, no burn in hell, no rotten hell. So my question is, what is a Christmas message without telling your enemies to rot in hell? All right. I don't know what a good Christmas message is unless you are telling your enemies who have been the communists and the fascists and how can we celebrate Christmas and how can you enjoy this when the fascists and deranged Jack Smith are spying on my campaign? I demand that none of you enjoy Christmas. I mean, imagine having to live with that. Imagine having to live with that guy. Melania is gone, man. She's gone. She's not even in the Christmas picture. I mean, she's gonna get that. She's gonna do what she's got to do. That the non-disclosure and the prenup and things says, all right. But nothing more. And if there wasn't a Christmas photo in there, and she's with her ailing mother. Okay, that was the party line. I mean, I guess it was going to be either that or she's taking care of baby seals. No, there was a message being sent there. All right. Okay, so so here we go with Trump. All right. And he's reposting this guy, Paul Ingrassia, who regularly calls for DeSantis supporters to be tried for treason and other insane things. This guy's like a really dorky guy. He's really like upset because people were mean to him in high school or something. And Trump reposts him. It doesn't matter how conservative a meaningless term Chip Soy's voting record is. He's a political hack with horrible judgment and character. He's never accomplished anything of significance in his life and committed to that. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think getting elected to Congress is kind of like a significant thing. I mean, what have you done, Paul Ingrassia? Oh, I got retweeted by Donald Trump because I wrote the craziest thing I could think of. I committed the ultimate act of betrayal by going against Donald Trump and the America First movement. The ultimate act of betrayal? He's a disgrace to Texas and even worthy of being dog catcher. First of all, I think this guy's from New York City, so I don't think that they care what you think down in Texas. But this is the same guy. This is the same little nerd that's always calling for DeSantis supporters to be tried for treason and treated as such. Okay. And this is what. So I mean, basically, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a conservative. It doesn't matter. I can't click on that link. I can't click on the links. But it's just this. It's just the ultimate act of betrayal. I mean, really, it is. Let me just ask you this, okay? When did endorsing a different Republican in a Republican primary become an ultimate act of betrayal? I mean, this kind of phraseology is bizarre, definitely bizarre, but also demented. And this is who Trump's going to be staffing his next administration with. I think this should be, brought up. I think this should be, and he's railing on his enemies all the time, railing on against his perceived political enemies, who would be Ron DeSantis and his supporters. I think this is deranged. And again, I ask Trump supporters, where do you draw the line with this? Like, being a conservative doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is a blind loyalty to Trump. That's it. Okay. So you got that lunacy. And then yeah, okay. So somebody did one of these L's on me, like a Chris Nelson L. Okay, that I said on 7/16/2022 when Roe v. Wade was overturned, Donald Trump's greatest achievement. He got Roe v. Wade overturned. That would not have happened without him. It probably wouldn't have happened without him putting those people on the Supreme Court. And I'll give him that. And that was one of the things that I always was saying that I was happy with Trump with. Okay. But then he turns around and calls the heartbeat bill horrible and shows us he's a pro-abortion lib and always has been. I don't know if Trump was that excited about Roe v. Wade being overturned. I mean, I didn't think, did you guys think? I don't think he was that excited about Roe v. Wade being overturned. I don't think that's why he put the people on the court that he did. I think that some of these things just happened because they happened. And it wasn't like this is what Trump wanted. I think it probably embarrassed them with his lib friends that he was responsible for Roe v. Wade being overturned, because he's not this big pro-life advocate, if you haven't noticed. Who will the next voters go to, Chris? Man, all 16 of them will vote for Donald Trump. Okay. Yes. That is absolutely true. All 16 of Vivek's voters. I mean, what do you think? All right, so I don't know. This thing hasn't started yet, and just come on, just start this thing already, okay? My goodness, man. I thought this thing was going to start. I guess, man, maybe it's not starting till noon. Maybe it's media arrival time at 11, and the thing doesn't start till noon. Oh well, when it comes, when it starts, I'll be carrying it. Okay. So this was really good.
Fire people like Fauci.
This was really good. Let's watch some of DeSantis's greatest hits.
Great. So the question was, 16, Trump promised to drain the swamp as president. He did not. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, I don't care if you're the biggest Trump supporter. The swamp is worse today by far than it was just 6 or 7 years ago. And in fact, he put a lot of people in positions who were from the swamp. And he didn't fire people like Fauci when he had an opportunity to do it. So I think you can compare what I've done in Florida. I came in as governor. Within 2 weeks, we removed 2 supervisors of elections in South Florida who had botched elections. I removed the sheriff of Broward County who botched the Parkland school shooting. I've removed 2 George Soros-backed radical left prosecutors, one in Tampa, one in Orlando, only governor in the country to do that. We've downsized our bureaucracy. We've eliminated agencies. So we've shown how it's done in the state of Florida. But here's the thing. DC swamp is more difficult than anything that I dealt with in Florida. It's more difficult what Kim has to deal with in Iowa. I acknowledge that. I don't think anyone can say that a governor is the same as being in DC, because that power has accumulated for a long time. We now have a situation where 5 of the 8 wealthiest counties in our entire country are suburbs of Washington, DC. That didn't get that way because they're doing good government there. It got that way because there's a lot of self-serving policies. When they ring up debt and print money and you pay more here in Iowa, they're making money in DC. So that's how it's been wired. So when you do that, you got to recognize the bureaucracy is going to be opposed to you. The institutional interests are going to be opposed to you. The media will be opposed. Democrats will be opposed. You've got to have a president that is focused and disciplined on unraveling this swamp. And it's not going to happen overnight. You got to be methodical and you got to keep on it. You got to have attention to detail. If we could just flip a switch, somebody would have done that by now. It's just not that easy. And so I'm the guy that you want in there for an 8-year period, by the way, not just one term. Donald Trump can only serve one term, even if he could get elected. And I think the election year will be very difficult if he's our nominee. And that's what the Democrats want. You know, the Democrats want to run against him. That should tell you something about who would be smart for us to run or not run. Don't give them what they want. They have a playbook that they're going to run on that. But I think the 2 terms, because you're going to have to unravel a lot of this stuff. There's been a lot of power that's accumulated. But if you're only there 1 term, a lot of these changes may not stick. You're there 2 terms. This stuff sticks. This stuff will be there. It'll be much harder to unravel as that becomes part of how government operates. So, yes, I think that it'll be something that we are going to have as one of our top issues. It's not going to be something that is just going to happen without somebody that's really determined to get it done. And I've shown an ability to do that, and I will do that. Okay, yes.
Somebody's going to ask him about the Civil War, he's going to get the right answer. You don't have to worry about this. Now, I want to show you something here. I want to show you something. All right. Because get ready for this. All right. This is opinion, MSNBC. Biden's 2024 chances are much stronger than people realize. 2 things have happened to Trump since 2020 that are going to make it very hard for him to win in 2024. Just 2 things, really? I can name like 24 things. I ain't like, well, but they're only talking about 2. You guys notice this, that the media has gotten a lot nicer to Trump? What's up, Chris? How much is DeSantis paying you? Trump 2024 boy. He's not paying me anything, dude. Trump has paid shills. Alex Brusiewicz, these guys. Trump, the Dilly meme team, he pays them in Trump hats that are signed. That's nah, man. I'm doing. Hey, man, I want to see our country back on track, man. I'm just, man. I'd probably be making more and probably be more productive in other ways if I wasn't politically involved in doing this. But the way I say it is DeSantis paid me by saving my job, by saving our freedom down here. And the energy's behind DeSantis. I don't know how you could say the energy's not behind DeSantis. You just go, even just when you go on X, which isn't reality really. I mean, go in these spaces like the Gene Church space and these other spaces, and it's just growing and growing. I don't see that kind of excitement in Trump spaces. And also, I keep hearing about these Trump rallies. I keep hearing about, DeSantis only packs these little tiny rooms, but Donald Trump packs stadiums. I'm like, when's the last time you saw Trump pack a stadium? He hasn't even been campaigning. When's the last Trump rally that happened? When I see him speak lately, I see him speaking to rooms that are about the size of what DeSantis is speaking to, which is fine. But he'll do one big hit up in Iowa, and the theatrics are big, and he's making it like it's big, and they'll take wide shots to make it look like more people are there. But that's nothing. Trump 2024, boy, that's nothing like what we saw back in 2016. I mean, He used to pack venue. I mean, I remember trying to get into a Trump rally in Daytona Beach in 2016. You could not get in. Oh my God. Now he's going. Okay. All right. I'm going to have fun with this while we're waiting for this. Now you can't, I mean, you can't, you could get in any Trump rally. There's no like, I remember I couldn't get into the center it was because so many people were waiting. The thrill is gone, dude. Trump 2024, boy. The Trump train has derailed. Okay. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't know if you're too young to remember. The Trump train is derailed. All right. It's not the same anymore. Anybody who's being honest knows this. He had remember his rally in Iowa? His rally in Iowa? Nobody came. All right. And then he canceled it due to a tornado. All right. There was no tornado. DeSantis had a thing the next day. All right. All right. This is what Trump rallies are now. All right. All right, hold on. All right, this is what Trump rallies are now. All right, this here. Okay, this was back in May. This was his last rally. This was May 13th, 2023, and this was his last rally. Okay, oh, you're really going with the tornado thing. Trump 2024, boys, stick around. I'm gonna Trump saved lives by not doing the rally. Yeah, I don't know about that. DeSantis did a rally like later that day and nobody died. So did Trump also save lives with the vaccine? Do you think he saved 100 million lives like he says? Just like he saved lives with the tornado? Did he save lives? 100 billion lives. Did he say he saved 100 billion lives or 100 million? I don't know where he gets these numbers from. Just like these faith leaders in Iowa who have endorsed him, but he won't name. Okay. Don't change the subject. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Okay. This is all right. Listen. So, okay. Trump saved lives by doing the rally. The vaccine was because of Fauci forced Trump's hand. Okay, the excuse Rolodex just gets more pathetic. All right, is Fauci the president? What power did Fauci have? Is Fauci's position in the Constitution anywhere? They had dirt on Trump. Oh, that's interesting. They had dirt on Trump. Wow. We know there's plenty of that. Of course, I don't know. I mean, he can come out with the craziest things. Women accuse him of raping him. All these things, but his supporters don't care. So what kind of dirt? But maybe they did. Trump's done a lot of. He's done a lot of dirt. He's done a lot of dirt. DeSantis wanted the vaccine. Laura Loomer has you on record attacking DeSanctimonious' handles of COVID. Well, yeah. I mean. I was all over him, man. Let me show you this, okay? Oh, by the way, if you want to bring up Laura, I called out DeSantis at a press conference once because they were about to remask the kids in Broward, the Broward School Board, and I yelled at him that he needs to do something about it. Laura was sitting right next to me. She didn't yell anything. She sat there like a good girl, didn't do anything. All right, so there you go. Because at that time, the Trump supporters, and it was the Club 45 people that escorted me out of the room. It was at that time in 2021, it was not popular to call out Ron DeSantis among the Trump people. Yeah, interesting. I'm glad. Yeah, it was not. I'll show the clip. Okay, she was right next to me when I did this. Okay, so I was sitting there, and I invited Laura. I said, come to this DeSantis thing because I thought she was a DeSantis fan at the time. Like I thought a lot of these people were. And I was like, I'm going to call him out. And I said, I'm going to Loomer him. And that was called. And I got up and I said, here, let me look for the clip. Let me look for the clip. I'm sure he remembers this. I'm sure Ron DeSantis remembers this. Okay, so there we are. There we are at the event. This was afterwards. The Trump people, okay, Sue Snowden of Club 47 now, told me to turn that shirt inside out. So I had to turn it inside out to come in, and then I turned it back afterwards. Seriously, that's what she said. These were the Trump people. Back then, guys, you got to know this. Back then, this is 2021. I was still obviously a pretty big Trump fan at the time. Back then, it was not cool to go after DeSantis. The Trump people were all over him. They were all over him. They were polishing his balls every day. Okay? Just like they're polishing Trump's balls now. I was going at Ron, and I got escorted out by Club 45 people. I've got to find this. I have got to find the because I posted it. These videos. All right, because these videos. All right, here we go. All right, here's me. Here's me letting Ron DeSantis have it. All right, here we go. This is May 2021. All right. This is when I gained respect for him, by the way. And no Trump 2024, boy, you didn't know this because they don't tell you this. This is when I gained respect for Ron DeSantis, okay? They were still doing, the Broward School Board was getting ready to do masks on kids, okay? He didn't have any kind of mandate statewide. But they were trying to set up these little fiefdoms with the Broward School Board, which he just dealt this huge blow to the teachers' unions, which were behind the masking, by the way. See, DeSantis makes things permanent. But they were getting ready to mask the kids again. And I felt it was my patriotic duty to let our governor, who I didn't really know that well at the time, but to let him know what they were up to. Here's what happened. Here's what ensued. This is me.
They ruined the lives. And we've never required them to be masked. That is not our policy.
You hear those people clapping and going, Ron, Ron, Ron? Those are your Trump supporters now. That's Club 47. Those are your Trump supporters. Cheering him on then when I was calling him out. Do you see the irony in this? Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? I was calling him out, okay? And by the way, he acted. He acted, man. He acted. He did. He tied the hands of the Broward School Board so they could not mask those kids. And then guess what they did? They told him, gave him 2 middle fingers, and they said, "We're going to do it anyway." And guess what he did next? He pulled their salaries. DeSantis pulled their salaries. Then shortly after that, they said, "Okay, we're not going to mask the kids." They were acting like they were civil rights leaders or something by forcing masks on these kids. It was the most disgusting thing I've seen. But the people cheering here, the people cheering Ron, 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 and booing me, those are, and Laura Loomer was next to me when I did this, by the way. Those are today's Trump supporters. They were being told at the time, you like Ron DeSantis now. Now they're being told you don't like Ron DeSantis. With me, I don't care. Okay? If he never pushed masks, but he needed to know that what they were doing in Broward. Okay? And I was going to make sure he knew about it. I was escorted out of the room after this. Okay? Thanks. Hopefully this thing gets started soon here. But thanks for taking me down memory lane here. So you talked about the poll. Another thing is the polls. Why did DeSantis lose 70% of support since he announced? Now that I think about it, I like DeSantis actually, but I don't want somebody who's going down. DeSantis was 40% in May. Now he's 14. What's going on here? You know, Trump 2024, boy, I'm glad we're having this conversation. All right. Because this is how a lot of people think. Okay. They like DeSantis, but they're being told over and over again, oh, his polls are down, his polls are down. And I remember when he had his big thing where he did his space with Elon Musk. There was a lot of hype about his campaign. Because you got to remember, before Trump started telling his media people and his supporters to attack him, Trump, and they all loved him. They all propped him up a lot and talked about how great he was. They would come out with documentaries about DeSantis saving Florida and all these things and all because they could capitalize on it at the time. You got to remember, a lot of these media people, they're doing things for their profits, okay? And at the time, DeSantis was popular and good for their profits because he took on Fauci and won and promoted freedom in Florida. But then in May, you saw a shift, okay? you saw a shift. And I'll answer this here. Because it's funny, because you got all these people on Twitter that are like, I'm the reason why DeSantis' poll numbers are in the toilet. We did this and this kind of nonsense. Nobody knows who we are, dumbass. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows who the Julie Meme team is, okay? Oh, we added in him wearing boots. And by the way, guess who does wear lifts? Donald Trump. Donald Trump's the one who wears lifts, okay? Not Ron DeSantis. You know, where do they get all this stuff from? Trump wears lifts. Look it up. Trump's lifts. Okay? Trump wears lifts in his shoes. All right? This is something that is pretty well known. And by the way, it's also well known that he told Chris Columbus that the only way he could shoot that scene from Home Alone 2 in the Plaza Hotel is if he let him be in the movie. Okay? And I believe that 100%. All right. But that was pretty well-known thing, the story is told. But look, Trump's elevator shoes choice. Does Trump wear lifts? Many want to know, does Trump wear lifts? He wears elevator shoes. Okay. Trump elevator footwear, no longer that functional fashion statement. He likely wears lift shoes that would make him look taller. Okay, look, like people have him at 6 feet about, but he wears these elevator shoes, these Oxford collection, okay, to make him look taller. Melania is 6 feet. Believe me, I've got a tall wife. I know what it's like. You want to look taller than her, okay? But elevator dress shoes, all right? Trump is known to wear lifts, okay? But who do you hear about all the time about wearing lifts? All right. Ron DeSantis is the one wearing lifts. Okay. DeSantis is not the kind of guy that would wear lifts. Cowboy boots have a natural, they have a natural thing. Okay. They have a natural heel in them. And honestly, I don't know, maybe this roundtable isn't being broadcast. I wish it would be, but I've gotten to talk about a lot of things in the meantime. I was hoping it was. I mean, I thought it started an hour ago, but it's 12 now, so maybe they're not broadcasting it. But you ask that. All right, so you ask, the polls not showing a silent majority for DeSanctimonious. First of all, where do you get the DeSanctimonious thing from? All right. Why do you call Ron DeSantis Ron DeSanctimonious? Because I remember Lying Ted. I remember when he called him Lying Ted Cruz, but Ted Cruz didn't lie. He just called him that. DeSanctimonious. What does it mean? Trump 2024 boy. What does DeSanctimonious mean? What does it mean to you? Because Trump said it. Okay, I heard DeSanctimonious from my dad, who said he heard it from Trump. There you go. Okay, yeah, it's a little psychological thing that he's using. Okay, to dehumanize and to disparage his opponent and to make you not like him. Now, what has happened? All right, and what you're seeing with the polls. All right, it has nothing to do with Turd or any of these other idiots on social media. Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, nobody knows who these guys are, okay? What's happening here? Number one, I do think the polls are corrupt, okay? They've shown it, all right? The poll people have shown it. They've shown that they, you got Rasmussen blocking all these pro-DeSantis accounts. You've got Trafalgar, the little guy with the bow tie, having an atomic meltdown on people. If you look at his standards, you should know, like, how do you find these people? Who are you polling? What questions are you asking them? Are you cooking the sample? Let me give you an example here. Roger Stone can explain it best. Okay, Roger Stone. Let's just have here. We'll just have Roger Stone explain this. Okay.
Any poll can be rigged to show anything you want. If you're not interested in an honest result, a true result, if you're taking a poll for the purposes of promotion and propaganda, well, then you can certainly skew a poll by cooking the sample, cooking the wording of the questions, cooking the order of the questions, and so on. This is since you want to remain truth-based, I thought I would give you my 2 cents on polling.
Okay. So this was back when I was on Roger's show. All right. This is back when he would have me on his show before he blocked me on every single social media and won't speak to me anymore. This is this was when a poll was showing DeSantis up, as you showed. Okay. So when DeSantis is up, then the polls are rigged. But if a poll is good for Trump, then they're good. All right. So so Haley, or whatever his name, thank you, Stacey. Haley, this little bow tie guy from Trafalgar, is there saying he has proprietary methods of gathering his data that he doesn't share. Okay. Well, you're there, and these people are big money is being spent. Donations are being decided. It's being decided whether you can be in a debate or not based on these polls, and you're not going to tell us how you're doing them. All right. So that there's bias, and they can be used to manipulate. I mean, you don't think that they might want to use polls aren't used to manipulate public opinion? That maybe the pollsters are actually Democrats. Maybe they want DeSantis to lose, because all I hear from people when it comes to DeSantis is they like him. They would like him to be president, but there's this perception that he can't be. There's this perception that Trump's inevitable, and that's keeping them from supporting DeSantis for some reason. Okay. I'll say what I said when I was doing the mask protests, when I was standing against the mandates, when I was having mask burnings, when I was, I mean, how many of you, let me ask you this, how many of you during the mask mania, and it was businesses that were requiring them, okay, in South Florida especially, the store clerks and stuff would yell at you if you didn't have a mask on. Going to the store was just like a really awful thing if you didn't want to wear a mask, because you were going to get harassed by not only the store employees, chased around and stuff like that, but you were also going to have to deal with people within the store being jerks to you and stuff like that. What did it feel like to stand alone, to be that one guy? It sucked. But now, don't you feel like you did the right thing? You did the right thing, and then we won, didn't we? They got rid of the mandates, and thanks to people like Ron DeSantis, these things will never happen again in the state of Florida. I'm telling you that I've got a feeling, and these most of these polls are national polls. You got some from Iowa, but just because somebody says something on the phone does not mean a whole lot. You've got to get people out to caucus for you. You got to get them to the actual poll that matters. Okay, not a single vote's been cast yet. All right. You got to get them to the poll that actually matters. All right. And that is, that's on January 15th. And it's going to come down to this. Iowa is going to decide, which direction is the Republican Party going to go? Are we going to stay tied to Trump? Are we going to go down with that ship? Is that ship going to be what we're going down with? Are you going to let the media decide the candidate for you? Or are you going to go with the guy who can win? Because guess what? The media and the pollsters don't have the Republican Party's best interests at heart. I don't know if you knew this or not. Okay. Now, I do apologize for not having this. I thought this roundtable would have started by now. Maybe this roundtable is not on social media. Okay. Because I've been watching DeSantis accounts. I've been watching. Oh yeah, this is a fun flashback.
Hey, will you talk about your ties to the Paula and Daisy Soros Foundation? Didn't you get your education funded by that foundation? Aren't you tied to George Soros and Big Pharma?
False. He lied to me.
On your Wikipedia, why is it all over the internet? Stay tuned for the press conference. So you're saying that's a lie? Aren't you a plant? Aren't you a plant just to go after Ron DeSantis and try to make him look bad? Because Trump never goes after you, Vivek.
Oh,
Yeah,
what
talk about
was
to George
this?
Soros.
Oh, who called it? Who called it?
Why are you going after DeSantis and not Trump?
So the bottom line.
Yeah. And look,
yeah, talk about.
Look who is handing Vivek his megaphone to. None other than Laura. Oh, there she is. Donald Trump did nothing wrong. There she is, handing him the megaphone that he ended up not using. But Vivek has been a plant. He's been, he's what the candidate that they wanted Ron DeSantis to be. A little beta male who goes in and loses and kisses Trump's butt. Okay, this is back in May. Why is Laura Loomer collaborating with an opponent of Trump? All right. Well, what do you think? I was pointing this out. Trump said, I'm not going to participate in this election process. I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to run a regular campaign. I'm not going to do, I'm going to, I'm going to just run a demagoguery campaign. And I was calling this little snot out from back in May because I saw him for what he was. He was a plant. He put in the Vivek plant. He's friends with Kushner. I mean, these guys, they're all in Truth. I mean, it's like Truth Social. Hello. All right. And there's Laura giving him his megaphone and going along with it. They were all praising Vivek. And here's the thing. This was in front of the Miami courthouse. Okay. This was back when Trump was being arraigned on his federal charges. All right. And I was there calling these guys out.
About your ties to George Soros.
I'll be fine with that.
Now, why wasn't Laura calling him out? Why wasn't Laura calling him out? That's something Laura would have done in the past. Okay. But no, she wasn't. She was handing him a megaphone.
DeSantis and not Trump.
So the bottom line is there are two.
Look it up. And then these guys around.
My campaign has sent to every other campaign in this race, to Mike Pence, to Nikki Haley, to Larry Elder, to RFK Jr., to Marianne Williamson, to Doug Burgum,
Who are these guys?
to Perry Johnson, to Chris Christie.
Listen, he waits to the end.
Ron DeSantis, the governor of the state.
And then look.
He's not here today.
Look what this little snot was doing.
That we have sent this letter, and I'm happy.
Look, there he is with the letter.
Fund your education.
Oh, be quiet. And then the Trump people. Okay, so then he carries on. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I was down there calling his ass out. All right. And because I saw him for what he was. All right. All right, so this is what happens. This is what happened down there. Okay, this is what happened down there that day. All right, and man, I guess I did a good. This was pretty good today, even though I'm wondering where the DeSantis town hall is, guys. I was going to do a simulcast of the DeSantis town hall, and I got some other juicy stuff going on here, but I guess that his parental rights town hall is something that's not broadcast on social media, and that's fine. Maybe it'll be broadcast later, but DeSantis isn't doing the stuff for social media. He's there meeting with people in Iowa and get things done. But I hadn't seen this side of Trump supporters. Okay, I had not seen this before. Call me naive. But I was surrounded as a DeSantis supporter. They weren't going after Vivek. Vivek was fine with them. But they surrounded me. This is what happened.
You even know what's your name? I'm not an employee of anybody. I mean, I write for a news outlet. I don't get paid by Ron DeSantis. Why don't you want him to drop out and endorse Trump? Why do you love this Vivek guy so much? He won't drop out and endorse Trump. You want DeSantis to drop out and endorse Trump. Why won't he?
Really believe that?
If Ron DeSantis came here, you would go nuts screaming at him. and until he dropped out and endorsed Trump. But you don't care with this guy.
I don't care if Ron
You guys are not American version. I want to know.
Ron can run, but today is the day to come and tell people what you really think. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear it.
Well, then why isn't he dropping out and endorsing Trump? Why do you have another presidential candidate stepping up?
Everybody can run. And they should speak Democratic candidates, Marianne Williamson and Robert Kennedy Jr. I expect them to respond.
Oh, look at it! I demand
Nikki to me. I mean, this isn't
not
about
this guy
Republicans. This isn't about Democrats. This is about who in a constitutional republic actually determines who the leaders of the country are. In our country, it is we the people who make that decision, not a federal police state.
Vivek was always a Trump psyop. Always. Always.
Standing up for truth at every step of this campaign. Thank you.
Vivek, why won't you drop out and endorse Donald Trump? Why won't you drop out and endorse Donald Trump, huh? Why won't you?
We love Trump. We love Trump. We love Trump. Chris loves Trump.
I know you do. You love Trump. You don't smell my breath, Norman?
Yeah, it smells like alcohol. What is that?
I wasn't
I've been off the thing for a while, man. Norman, are you sad that Laura rejected you? Are you sad that Laura rejected you? Doing his job. Doing his job. Doing his job.
Where is Ron? Where is Ron? Where is Ron?
Hey, do you guys dream about Ron DeSantis? Let me ask you something. You guys, okay.
Look at this nutcase Jeremy Harrell here could get into my face.
He's a little drunk.
All these people, they go nuts about Ron DeSantis not dropping out.
Hold on.
Please.
He's a little drunk.
About Ron DeSantis not dropping out and endorsing Trump.
Right.
Okay? That's a big problem for them. Even though Ron DeSantis has already said he's going to look at pardons for J6ers on day one. He's going to be pardoning
He didn't
Trump.
say anything about
Yes, he
J6ers.
did. Yes, he did.
Please,
He did.
Time
On the Clayton
say anything.
Listen.
Not one thing.
They don't want to hear it though.
Not one thing till he ran for president. Not one thing. This guy's writing. Hold on. This guy's writing a book about
This is where that is starting getting a little bit.
They don't care that Vivek won't drop out of the race. All they care about is Ron DeSantis.
This is MAGA now.
What do you think about the fact that you said Vivek? Please, I'm doing an interview here. Why do you think that he didn't drop out of the race and endorse Trump today? Did that annoy you?
Same reason that everybody else has no chance of winning.
I was just going to show about the thing with Vivek, but I am kind of glad that I played that again, because guys, that's when I went down there to that thing. Why are they so vulgar, Trump 2024? But I'm glad you see that. I asked that too. That's disgusting. Thank you. And I realized that this was about something else now. This is not the same. This is not the same MAGA that I thought it was, or that this is not. These guys don't represent what I want. Okay, I want something good for our country. I want the J6ers to get a fair shake. I want to win. I want to beat Biden. All right. You can tell these guys were thinking about something else. Okay. That was down at the that was at Trump's arraignment in Miami. It got pretty crazy down there. That was June 12th. That was June 12th, 2023, down in Miami at the courthouse. And no, it's not the same MAGA I remember. I don't know when this transformation happened, but it's not something that I like and not something I want to be involved with anymore. And there it is. So anyway, I'm sorry you did not get the Ron DeSantis roundtable. I've gone to all the different. Apparently, it's not something that was streamed. I thought it would be, but I don't see it. and I don't see any of his people sharing it. So, so I guess this was something. This Parental Rights Roundtable was something that was not streamed. But if they share clips, I'll share them with you later. I used to support Trump. Now I'm leaning to Ron DeSantis, thanks to Chris. Thank you. DeSantis seems smart and handles things well. Now that you've shown all these videos, I like how he balances things. Chris made me notice DeSantis focus on what's important for people, and that matters to me. This is why I do this, guys. So I'm shifting my support because I think DeSantis brings a more down-to-earth approach to governing and aligns with what I value. Hey, man! All right. I just hope you're old enough to vote, Trump 2024 boy. I hope you're old enough to vote. And if you're not, you get out there and help. All right? But that's what it's about. So instead of doing a Ron DeSantis roundtable, and simulcasting that, I ended up converting a former Trump supporter to a DeSantis supporter. Woo! Hey, that's time well spent. Any day. Yeah. So this clip's from the roundtable. I'll show them. Sorry, this roundtable. It's I think it's happening. I guess it's just not something that they're broadcasting. They're just doing it there in Iowa. But if they post clips, I'll be sure to share them. This is Chris Nelson. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.